Hello again. Man, I tell you, it's been a beautiful Onpassive day today. I've seen a lot of comments, and I've even talked to some people about some of the things that we've seen and heard lately. In particular, some of the things that Mr. MUFAREH had talked about last week on his webinar. I think it was last Monday, a week ago. So I'm not real sure how this is going to turn out, but I want to start off by saying something like, we are where we are because of decisions that we have made. We can't blame anybody else for anything that's been done or has not been done that has affected us, because ultimately our lives are the reflection of how we think, feel, and act. Now, with that in mind, Onpassive has ways of blessing founders that have been advocates. Those putting a lot of effort in webinars and doing presentations and such, and cultivating an online presence and stuff like that, like YouTube, for instance. And this is to say that those that are actively engaged in a positive sense while on the Onpassive journey is going to be rewarded. However, because we live in polarity, right? Because we live in a world where there's a lot of contrast, there's always going to be the other side of that coin. So if we're behaving unethically or engaged in negative behavior like gossip or slander or backbiting and murmuring and that sort of thing against Onpassive, or acting in a way not in the founders and by extension Onpassive's best interest, well, we can believe Onpassive's going to put a stop to it. By this, I mean that Onpassive will, in its own timing, put an end to it and to the accounts of those behaving in that way. And that should be nothing new to us. How many times have we heard, if you can't say something nice, then don't say anything at all? And how many of you have actually finished that sentence before I did? Well, we're an ethical company, and we only want ethical, honest people with integrity. So we need to be very, very aware about who we're allowing in our business. And we can believe those who join without those standards will eventually be rooted out, even as is chaff among the wheat. And for those outside of Onpassive that continue to put in grief, well, we're a real company, legal, established more than 3 years ago, and we're not going to allow it. Slander, defamation, it is criminal, so don't think for a minute that you're going to get away with it. Now, we're all seeing how the value of Onpassive branding is absolutely phenomenal, and how this is beginning to show how our mission is going to be affecting the human race for generations. We should all know this. Onpassive is going to be the most effective and successful company that's ever existed on this planet. Now, having said that, Onpassive is not yet quite ready to launch. But rest assured, our progress, products, and development will not be stifled, nor will it be hurried. If, as a company, we were motivated solely by profit like a traditional company, we could launch right now quite successfully. But we're not a traditional company, and continual development is going to serve to compound our progress, so we're going to reach top after top after top. And you can believe that we're not developing around dates or time frames. Rather, we purposefully choose what we focus on and then drive that focus to a logical conclusion with the highest company standards based on the company's vision. And the amount of work that we put into this is anything but normal. What we are doing, in Mr. MUFAREH's word, unparalleled. And it will never happen like this again. It is, as we say, a done deal. Even though the size of what we created is very hard to imagine. Very few understand the magnitude of what we have, founders included. The good news is that we don't need to know these things. Now, I don't know for sure, but it seems to me when the marketing campaigns start, they'll provide visitors that will join as customers. And the new customers are going to get traffic with their paid subscription, which brings in more customers, and the cycle continues as it generates profit for the company. Once the company's expenses are paid, the utilities and costs of expansion and development, R&D, payroll, benefits, yada yada, all those things are done, commissions are going to be paid to resellers. After that, I would expect that the lion's share of the remaining profit is going to be divvied up between the founders as profit sharing. I do not know this stuff as facts, and we can't say right now how that commission calculation is going to unfold, what the amounts will be. But we do expect the amounts paid out are going to be more than the company plans to keep. Whatever the case, most of what we earn will be gotten from the work that the company does, and things will just compound from there. Resellers of Onpassive products will take more profit than the company concerning the money left over after everything's been paid. That much is just about sure. Commissions will be paid in real time, and we won't see the levels, nor will we see exactly what the sale is made of, but we will see the package, and the commission amount is going to show up in our wallet. It's done this way because we have no connection to previous financial structures or systems, and it's done for our sustainability. But there will be packages, personal, business, enterprise, things like that. You might get a look at those. I don't know. Right now, we're preparing for global acceptance, and we're expecting to go absolutely viral. And all the sales and all the transactions are going to be transparent to governing entities. But also right now, we don't know what the cost of the products are going to be. For our goal, the more affordable, the better, because we want everybody on the planet to have access to these products. But for now, please do not try to estimate the cost of the first month's subscription. It has not been determined. There will be a lot of freebies and such though, but we want it all affordable. And the more affordable, the better. So let's stop trying to figure it out and simply go with the flow. And as far as the comp plan goes, we know it's revolutionary and has never been seen, much less put into practice. It's so radical, in fact, although we see it in our direct team, we no longer see genealogies because there's no need to define sales or commissions through levels or genealogies. There's no need to indicate depth in that way. And if we did create a structure of sorts, just so we could see it in a chart, it would give the appearance of multi-level marketing structures, and that would be misleading. As part of our evolution, the comp plan has no such structure. Onpassive will have all the sales data to reflect the full complexity of the entire network without depicting it graphically, because we don't need to see it. We don't need the charts. So this is what we mean when we say that we're not associated with conventional multi-level marketing tactics, systems, or scenarios. And doing this doesn't adversely affect the pay structure in any way. It's just that correlating a chart structure to show depth like MLM businesses do is simply not relevant. Our AI's ability to work with data analytics is the main reason why AI and big data are seemingly inseparable. AI machine learning, a subcategory of AI that is used by Onpassive, pulls from every data input and uses those inputs to generate new rules for future business analytics. There's nothing to compare us to. We've outgrown the old methods of showing structure, and this is to say that our comp plan is not based on that conventional team-styled payment structure we're used to seeing in charts. It's based on product sales. So instead of teams, think revenue streams. In other words, we have sales, not teams, and those sales generate commissions, revenue, for us. Onpassive has all the data churning like a whirlpool underneath automation by its AI with heart. So there's no real need to count, diagram, or see it charted out. We've evolved beyond that. For these reasons, we can't guarantee levels of success, but it's a good bet they're going to be very high, and Mr. MUFAREH has assured us more than once that Onpassive is not greedy when it comes to profits. In the words of Mr. MUFAREH, quote, "Our pay structure is beyond brilliant," unquote. Yeah, he says it's beyond smart, beyond clever, and we expect everybody to hit the break-even point pretty quickly, possibly on day one, perhaps with nothing out of pocket. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, changing the thoughts for just a minute, our future is bright and unstoppable. When Onpassive started, that was in Calcutta, India, in a rented space with a handful of techs. And from there, we expanded into Bangalore, then to Hyderabad. We've been working in Dubai now for about 6 months, and we just came off a 30-day branding spree with light shows on the Burj Khalifa. So the whole world knows that we're here, right? They know we're real. And we interviewed several top design companies for offices, picked one, got design layouts and sketches, and the visuals are stunning. But it's just what you would expect from Onpassive for such a location. It may take a couple more months to complete. And the offices aren't just for entertaining executives. They are actual working offices, albeit very, very nice ones. And there's expansion into other buildings too coming up, similar to that of Hyderabad, but is newer. It's located in Dubai Internet City. The Dubai Internet City is a free trade zone right next to Dubai Media City. It's a technology park where well-known companies from all over the world like Microsoft and Dell and Siemens and a lot more settle down. The Emirate of Dubai grants special tax privileges to companies there. It's similar to the high-tech city in India. And we're expanding India's offices as well, along with new offices in other countries. And this week, our Hyderabad building is going to get maxed out. Along with the completion of staffing, it's all going to be done this week. It's all going to be completed. And all these things are going to be done before the commercial launch because we don't want to get more business than we can handle. We need to be prepared. Many companies have failed just because of that. That's another reason why we're not ready to open publicly yet. All signs indicate that we're going to be getting a lot more customers by the end of the first year than any company in history, and we need to be able to handle it. That's why it's taken a lot more preparation than normal, because we believe we'll see crazy, massive momentum, massive consumer volume, and we will not launch prematurely. Can you imagine if we were content with the ability to handle 400 million members, open to the public, and then surpass that number in a few months? Wow. What happens when a company's success surpasses its abilities and they can't keep up with the consumer demand and technology? Failure, that's what. And with numbers this big, it's catastrophic failure. Onpassive has not spent 4 years building the mother of all businesses only to underestimate our success potential. We will not build something substandard that ultimately jeopardizes the business. We will continue stacking the cool, raising the standards, and working toward the fulfillment of our dreams because, despite the time that it's taken, Onpassive is a done deal. No one can touch us, and we are in the beginning stages of domination. So relax, let's breathe easy, and trust the process. If you've been invited to become a founder, please get back with the people that invited you. I'm sure that they'll be glad you did, and so will you. If you have not been invited, then somewhere down in the description box, there is probably a link. Please click that, or even go to onpassive.com. You can join from there as well. Learn about us, understand who we are. But regardless of what you do, we wish blessing and blessing upon you and your entire family.